What does a game designer need to succeed in the industry today? To find out, I went to the Cogswell Polytechnical College in Santa Clara to visit their Game in a Month club, and I talked to Game in a Month officer Brian Monroe.
My name is Brian Monroe. I am a senior at Cogswell Polytechnical College in the game design concentration of the degree called Digital Art Engineering. And I am an officer in the Game Development Club. A Game Development Club is a student-run club that is in this room that we're in right now. The goal is to combine all disciplines to create games. Everything from pulling audio guys from the audio degree, to have multiple artists from animators to spriters, conceptors, our programmers, and just to create games amongst ourselves and critique them.
What we're going to do is we're going to go for like I think 3 minutes or so. So once that goes to the top, which will be in 5 seconds, you start throwing out ideas.
Game Development Club's best event is Game in a Month. You participate in this yourself. What we do is we take 1 month and we divide up into teams, and these teams create games in theory in a month. Sometimes they don't get done, sometimes they do.
Mirror fighting game.
Zombie killing game.
Zombie killing game.
Red blood cells versus germs game. Sort of RTS.
Immune game.
Lawn gnome dart throwing game.
It's from a little tug-of-war game with your dog, or if it's solitaire while you're just waiting. Yeah, you don't sit down and play it as a hobby, but everyone plays games in some respect. It's what people do in our spare time. What makes a gamer a gamer? I would say people who are fascinated by it. People who really enjoy fantasy fulfillment. Like, that's one of the biggest things that a game can do to someone is allow them to become something they're not. Just for a short period of time, and they'll walk away from it and they're done. Like, I could be shooting zombies in some rooftop, with my buddies. We have a good time, we go on this cool, it's like a movie, but you're playing it. And giving you to have a little control that you won't find anywhere else.
My name is Mark Daly, and I'm responsible for all the internal development at NVIDIA for demonstrations. The process that we use to put these things together are exactly the same way that the game developers put together game content, both from a software side and from an art asset side. The demos that we put together, art. Yes, absolutely, positively. In fact, my team right now is 60% artists and 40% engineers. So we actually have more artists than we do engineers in the team. And that's not untypical of the whole game industry. There tend to be more artists than there are engineers. And we spend a lot of time doing the visual development, getting the look of a character or environment. It truly is artwork. It just happens to have this wonderful aspect to it that it's interactive. It's artwork I can play with. I can't imagine it getting any better than that. But then all you have to do is just look out the window and look at real life and look at nature and look at the world, and you go, man, we got a long way to go before we can ever replicate reality. And reality is just a small step, because once you can make something that looks real, it's the unreal stuff, the things beyond reality that a computer allows you to do. You can't even see out the window anymore. So we got a long time before we can even come close to reality. Lots of headroom to go.
Your objective is to try and stay alive on a balloon filled with sumo wrestlers as long as possible. You've got a very simple set of maneuvers. You can move left and right. You can push your opponents, or you can kind of try and launch them into the air.
Can you learn creativity? I'll tell you, I've done a lot of recruiting on college campuses. And one of the things I try to look for is, are you a creative person? Do you have that creative DNA? And, I would argue it's an 80-20 thing. Most people, it's born in them. They're creative. 80% of that is it's born with them. They're just creative or they're not. And I'd say there's probably 20% of it that's moldable, right? You can be taught to be more creative. You can be taught to be creative in different areas. But to some extent, that creative gene is sort of within you. And, it's kind of like being a great runner. Some people can train and train and train and train and become an okay runner, but they'll never be as good as the guy that was just born to run. And it's a little bit that way on the creativity side.
All weekend long was we wanted this hot air balloon. We wanted people in a hot air balloon crossing each other. We got a lot of people.
Since I was a kid, games have been a real big part of my life. So I, just when I was like a teenager, I decided, you know what, there's nothing else I really want to be. And so I decided I want to be a game designer.
The most important aspect to have as a game developer, I would say passion for games, but passion for making games. It's one thing to be a game player, but if you have to go and find people to help you make those games. Like I don't know how to do 3D modeling. I sort of do, but it's not that great. You know, I just did my first class. You know, I have no idea how to animate, but I got to be able to go out there and start looking for people to help me with my idea. My idea's got to be good enough to sell that to them.
When you want to get a job, you want to do something you're going to enjoy. Pretty much everyone here enjoys games.
Hell yeah.
I mean, that's like, does anyone here not enjoy games? There you go. I mean, so it's all the more reason you want to do something you're going to enjoy. You enjoy playing games. Most people here enjoy whatever aspect of making games it is they do.
A career based on, you know, in the gaming industry or in the graphics technical industry at all. A few of the tips I'd give you is, you know, work hard. That's true with any career. Work hard. Pay special attention to those classes or those opportunities that let you express your creativity. Something we talked about earlier. And when you have a project, don't just don't just fulfill the assignment. Do something that you're proud of, right? Do something that you personally say, "Wow, I accomplished something pretty cool here. This is neat." You'd be proud to show it off to your friends. You're not just doing it for a grade, or you're not just doing it because the professor told you to do it. You're doing it for yourself, and you want to impress yourself, because ultimately, when you get out of business, you're going to have a boss. You know, you're going to have a company. You have a bunch of coworkers that you want to impress. But your happiness is going to be based upon how impressed you are with your own performance. So I'd say probably the most important thing is work hard on something so you're personally proud of it.
So it sounds like let it bounce around and eventually run into it.
Well, nothing, it won't even bounce, I'll show you.
You got the same levels as we do?
I just had it crash.
Yeah, if you failed a couple games, that's fine. I've failed some myself, but I've learned a lot about failures. They're actually important in some respect, because you learn real quick what to do and what not to do. For example, don't pull someone in the middle of your project. I learned that the hard way.